seen it before. It turns truth into lies. Oh, but I won't back down. I must stay on this road. I gotta know what I'm about. Girls out that turns back down. We're all looking for the moment when getting used to not knowing when all the pieces fall in line. Oh, girls out that turns back down. I keep searching for signs in my dreams back then. I don't know how to stop, 'cause it brings back the feeling that I can't reach the top now, even if I don't know how. It brings back the feeling that even if it all goes down, in the end I'll be alright. It brings back the feeling. It brings back the
So, are you curious about live streaming? Have you thought about it? Do you think, I'd love to do that, but I don't know how. I don't know how to get started. Can I do it on a budget? Maybe you have all those questions, then welcome. We have a special guest today. This is the Market Your Message show. Now, normally we are live every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, but this week we're interviewing amazing people, many of which let me share their story in my new book, Your Message Matters. And today's guest also is in the book. You could go read her story in chapter number 12. I'll be bringing her on in just a second. But all this week, we are talking about living your passion. You know, last year was a rough year for a lot of people. And I just want you to know that your future has not been written yet. 2021 presents an amazing opportunity for us messengers, all of us who have a story, a passion, a message to share, to get it out there, whether it's blogging, podcasting, doing video, like a YouTube channel, or even live streaming like we're going to be talking about today. I'm so excited that you're here. As you can tell, we've got an 80s theme going on. We got a little bit of 80s music in the beginning. We've got some 80s in the background. We are all about the 80s and having a good time with that theme. And I just want to say that everything that I've learned about live streaming, I learned from today's guest. I mean, right down to the countdown timer, how to get the music, how to set it up, the graphics we have here. I mean, I am so excited to bring on our guest today to chat a little bit about her story. And as you're coming to the room, let us know that you're here. Put your first name, where you're watching from. I see we've got Rich is here from Michigan, tuning in. Glad you're here, Rich. Anka from Switzerland, welcome. Glad that you're tuning in. Randy from Michigan. Candace says, excited to join live this time. We're glad that you're here. Diane's watching from Cleveland, Ohio. Hi, Diane. Glad that you're here. Lynn's hanging out. And then somebody on Facebook, obviously in your Facebook group, one of our groups, I can't see your name, but Dampened Chili, Georgia. And then we got David here from Boca Raton. He's back again. Yes, we've been doing a lot of interviews today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our guest. Today's guest is Luria Petrucci. I'm so excited to have her hang out with us for a little bit, hear her inspiring story. Honestly, how she went from like being camera shy and all the way to like running this amazing online business, teaching people all about live streaming. So let's get into it, shall we? So Luria, are you there?
I'm here. Hi.
Hey.
Okay. He's having to do live edits right now because of me. So don't put that on him. He was prepared. I unfortunately was running late on a stream that I was doing just before this. So I apologize.
Oh,
Hi.
you're good. This is why it's fun. This is live. We are talking live.
Yes.
This is not recorded. We're hanging out together.
Hey, Rich. Hey, Randy. Hey, Daphne. Hey, Gwen. Oh my gosh. So many awesome people. I'm so excited about today.
Yeah, and what's awesome is I'm excited to introduce them to live streaming. So, guys, funny little story. and Luria, you may remember this. I think it was 2018, if I remember right. The time gets away from me.
All right.
But you were actually in my hometown, Jacksonville, Florida, and there was a big social media conference. And so
Yeah.
when I saw the lineup, one of the things you had a chance to do was actually choose which workshop that you wanted to
Oh, yes.
attend. And I saw your workshop on live streaming, and it was like, I had blogged since 2009. I started a podcast in 2011. I've done YouTube videos, but I had not done anything with live streaming. That was like the genesis moment for me. And then this past year, I got serious about going live to my audience, and it's been one of the best things I've done. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I am now. You know what? I had you pinned to in my head. So I meet so many people, right? We all do this in the social world, and we go to so many different events. I had you pinned to Nashville, actually.
Ah,
So, but now I'm remembering it. I'm uncovering the history.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
funny.
That's awesome.
And might I say, you're rocking the graphics and the presentation for your live streams. It looks spectacular.
Oh, well, thank you. And I learned from the best because I was like slowly stalking you. I wasn't like actively out there in your community. So you're probably like taking all this in going, this guy's using my graphics that our team creates. We've got countdown timers
I
that we've
love
developed.
it.
The
Fantastic.
backdrop, everything. So if there's a person to go to for live streaming, this is your gal, everyone. And that's what we have in our community. We have a lot of what I call messengers. They're people who are
Yeah.
passionate about either sharing their story through blogging or podcasting, video. And I get questions all the time about live streaming. And so that's why I'm excited to talk about this today with you. So
Yes.
can we just talk maybe just for a moment so people know a little bit about your story, kind of how you got started?
Yeah. So, well, how much time do we have? Just joking. So I actually started way back in 2005, before YouTube was even a thing. I was one of the very first video podcasters, and I'm actually in the Hall of Fame for podcasting, the Podcasting Hall of Fame, which is kind of crazy. But so I started back in 2005. I had zero experience on camera, zero desire to be on camera, but I knew that this thing was going to be a thing,
Hmm.
and at that time I was just a geek kind of playing around with the technology that allowed us to deliver content to people's iPods or whatever, and have that all automated. And it was just a fascinating time to open up the conversation to the world instead of just the select few who were approved by the big networks.
Yeah.
And so it was just a fascinating thing to me. Had no desire to really be on camera. I sucked at it. I called my mom crying the first time I did a video. I was like, I can't do this. I suck. Like, the whole ordeal. It was bad. And I just kept going because that's what I do. I'm all in or all out on something. And I released my very first video, and started going live shortly after that. And I grew an audience super quickly, and I was able to make it a full-time job within 5 months of starting it. So I've been doing this stuff ever since, and various versions, various brands. I built up an audience of 2 million people. I lost an audience of 2 million people, had to start back from scratch. So I feel your pain when it comes to growing an audience. I've had to do it multiple times. And this stuff is hard. Let's be real about it, but it's
Yeah.
also so worth it to share your message, to be able to release the things that you have bottled up inside to the world so that you can have a greater impact.
I love that. And it's worth it, right? Nobody said it'd be easy, but it's worth
Yeah.
it.
And that's the thing, is the people who don't follow that instinct or that desire to share their message, the people who don't are the people who live unhappy lives, if we're honest about it,
Hmm.
because they're not fulfilling their potential. And so at the end of the day, you got to be okay with it being a little hard and having some bumps in the road, because when you see what happens on the other side, you're just like, wow. If you're truly a messenger, like what you're talking about, Jonathan, it's like, wow, like this is so worth it. I know I already said that, and I'm searching for a better term, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And there's people waiting for your help, right? I mean, think about it,
Yes,
Gloria. If
you're
you would
doing them
have,
a disservice by
I
not.
know,
Sorry, go
'cause-
ahead. Yes.
no, I was going to say, think about that first time you went home, you're crying to mom, you like didn't go the way that you wanted. And what if it was like, okay, I'm not going to do that again?
Yeah.
How much
Most people
different would
stop
your life
there.
be, and think about
Yeah.
all the people you've helped, even like I bragged on you today. I mean, you helped me get started doing this. And so like I'm talking to everybody out there, use this as an example to like when things get hard, guess what? Everything worthwhile is uphill. Everything worthwhile is uphill. It's not going to be easy and there's going to be challenges, but that's part of the your journey. That's part of the path. So besides that moment of like, it didn't go the way that I wanted, what are some other challenges that you've faced, and especially in the beginning getting started?
Um, okay, I'll come back to the beginning getting started, but let me give you a list of challenges that I've
Yeah.
faced because I'm all about vulnerability. Um, I have had to learn how to get over myself. Of being on camera, the fear factor, right? Get over thinking that it's all about me when it's not. I've had to get over the fact that I needed everything to be scripted and prepared at first. Those were some of my toughest early challenges, is trusting myself to speak. And I didn't speak much as a kid. I was super shy, so I didn't really know how to speak. I had to learn how to actually communicate in a live environment and on a video. I've also been sued. I've gone through 3 different types of partnerships. I have had to make compromises. I've had to step into my bigger game over and over and over. And each time it's the hardest thing I've ever done. And yet at the same time, it's the best thing that I've ever done. I've had to choose my health, choose the thing that I knew was right for not only me, but also the people around me, my team, my viewers. I've had to say no when I'm a people pleaser. Gosh, the list goes on and on and on, right?
Yeah, and there you go, guys. Listen, is that not helpful to you? And I love that you uh, open yourself up to vulnerability to talk about these things, because I think a lot of times what happens is people see where we are today and they think, well, they just had the magic touch, or
Yeah.
Loria is just a great personality, so this stuff came easy to her. It's simple. Like, it's hard, and we go through challenges and difficulties along the way for sure. So, with that, I want to back it up with this question. So, why is it important for you to live your passion?
So I didn't discover my passion or my real true life calling, if you will, until a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I have built my audience on doing tech news and reviews for 10 years. And then I started teaching what I knew with live video because I was the most experienced at it in the industry. And like I had so much experience doing it. So I decided to start teaching that. And all throughout this, I loved what I did. I thought I was so passionate about it. And then all of a sudden I realized what my true passion is helping people embrace their true authentic self. I hate the word authenticity because we all like, hey, I'm authentic. Look at me. It's like this big badge of honor. And in fact, it's really fake authenticity that is sweeping the world. And so uh, my true passion, my calling is to actually help people um, release that on camera, but also to live, to say no to the things in life that take you away from living a truly authentic life. So I call that being uniquely you, YO uniquely you. And that became like my true passion. And when I found that, my answer before would have been different in terms of why it's important to live your passion. When I found that thing that I realized live video and teaching people is a vehicle in order to help uncover their hidden awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, and at the core of what I do is to make you more confident. It's to show them, I'm a mirror for you to see how amazing you are, how much value you offer the world. And live streaming is my vehicle to help you do so. But when you realize what it is you do have to offer in such a super deep way, man, you can't do anything but. How important is it to live your passion? It's everything.
Mm. So well said. And, I'm passionate about that for people because I know I went on a journey, and my journey starting as a high school teacher, had a young family at the time, and yet I had this unsettled desire to do
Mm,
something else. And for a while, I just felt guilty about it. Like, is it selfish for me to pursue my passion?
yeah,
And I had to wrestle with that. And ultimately, I figured it out along the way that no, in fact, me pursuing that passion that I have or that purpose that I've been given was what I was meant to do, and I needed to do it. And
yeah.
it's why I was put here on this earth. And so I love that you're helping people kind of uncover their uniquely you. I think that's awesome. And I know, for me, especially in the book, the first part of the book is all about how do you discover that thing, that gift
Yeah.
that you have inside of you that maybe you don't realize that you have. That's just kind of like another friend of mine says, what's ordinary to you is magic to others. We tend to not see our great gifts. At the same time, it's extremely valuable to others. So you
I'd love to
mentioned,
hear from the
yeah,
audience what they like. What is your awesome? What is
yeah, put
your
that in.
passion? I would love to hear that. But also, you said, is it selfish to live my passion and to focus on that? And I don't have kids. I'm not married, but at the same time, like, so I get you have to balance maybe some different ways when you do have kids and a family. But at the end of the day, when you're not pursuing that, you are more miserable to be around. You're not able to bring out the best in others. You're causing more chaos in your immediate circle. So if you're not, it's it's selfish of you to not pursue it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes. Yes. And if you have a gift or you have a unique ability or you have something to offer other people, it's selfish not to share it, not to put it out there to help people at the same time. So I
Yeah.
love that. So people are already putting in a few things
Yes.
here. Daphne says, I teach technology to mature adults, people that are
Nice.
55 plus,
Love
which is
it.
so cool.
That's super valuable.
This is Diane. I know Diane. She's a pivot coach for artists and entertainers who were crushed by COVID.
Ah, that's so good. Yes.
So,
Pivoting so important in 2020, but also pivoting just in life. Like when I said I lost 2 million followers, guess what? I lost that because I pivoted incorrectly. I lost that because I pivoted wrong. And I've learned so much about pivoting. So I'm glad that you're out there helping people do that.
awesome. Rich says his passion is helping pastors supplement or replace their income through a side hustle or business.
Oh, interesting.
And I know
Nice.
last year was hard on a lot of churches because they couldn't necessarily hold their services, and so
Yeah, it
obviously probably
was.
tithing and income for pastors went down, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Randy bringing honor and strengthening families. Love that, Randy.
Oh, very cool.
Good
Love, love,
stuff.
love.
So you mentioned Luria, and I love how you just like you didn't even give us the story, but you mentioned in passing that you're in the podcasting Hall of Fame. Obviously, that's a success. But what other successes, big or small, are you proud of, or we can celebrate with you right now? Because you decided to take the action and move forward despite all of those challenges mentioned earlier. Are there any special wins or
Mm.
successes that looking back it's like what that means something to me.
Yeah, I'll give you the trite ones, like the ones that everybody like pays attention to, even though we
Uh-huh.
probably shouldn't put so much pressure on or like so much uh, weight on them. Um, I very quickly, when at the beginning of my career, I was asked to co-host a TV show with Leo Laporte, who was like the tech god, the grandfather. And I said, I didn't know how I was ever going to do that. And this is an important thing in between me saying all of this. I always just say yes when an opportunity arrives that I know will do me well. I say yes, and I have zero idea how to actually accomplish that. I have zero confidence in myself usually. I just say yes, and then I go and figure it out. At the end of the day, it's all about just diving headfirst into it for me and my personality. So that I've been able to work with Panasonic and Samsung, and I've had so many amazing experiences. I've been shuffled across the world on other people's dimes just to show me that country and the experiences of that country, so I can share it with my audience. Like some of the most amazing experiences of my life have been because of what I do and having the audience that I have. And so I'm super thankful for all of that. But at the end of the day, the real win for me came this last year. I told you I was a people pleaser. And I had to, it was an incredibly difficult decision. I had to say, when there was a conversation between me and the person who I kind of grew live streaming pros with, wanted to priorities shifted for
Hmm.
both of us this last year, right? And he wanted to become a partner in the business, and that kind of forced me into realizing I have been through partnerships. I have no desire to be a partner with anybody, because I was finally at a point in my life, I'm turning 40 this month, where I wanted to trust me.
Mm,
Yeah, and I stopped putting so much weight on other people and what they thought I should do,
yes.
and instead I started trusting my instinct. At the beginning of 2020, my mom reminded me of this. I had no idea what instinct was. Like, I was like, I don't possess instinct.
Yeah.
And I truly believed that about myself. And now I know what that is, and I'm living that instinctual life and trusting me. And that has been one of the most difficult decisions, but the biggest wins for me in my whole career.
That's awesome. So I heard a couple things in there that were awesome.
Mm,
First of all, when you get clarity on the what, the how begins to appear. And it's like
yeah.
we also, so oftentimes we want the how, like, well, how am I going to accomplish that? How am I going to do that? Well, get clarity on what you want.
Yeah.
And then the how begins to appear. So I heard that, don't be afraid of just calling the what out, and then knowing that the resources, the tools, the people that you're going to need to accomplish that goal are going to come. But you got to get clarity on what. It's kind of like this weird thing that happens when people have described this before, like when you set your mind on a car you want to buy, and then all of a sudden you begin seeing it everywhere. It's the same kind of a
Yes,
thing
it is.
when you
It
focus
so
in and
is.
get
Yeah.
clarity on the what. So that's awesome. The second thing that I heard in there is the importance of valuing yourself, your instinct, putting not always putting everybody else in front of you. And I think that what
I'm very
happens
good at
is, yeah, me too,
that.
me too. And I think what happens, especially as messengers, as people who are serving and helping people in different niches and topics, is we are in it because we so love to serve and help. But then what happens is there's a dark side to that serving and helping, and it squashes our authentic self, like you were talking about. And you got to get back to that, standing up for yourself and the direction that you feel like you need to go in.
And when two people don't align, like, and most often, not even just in a partnership situation, but like, if you take what Jonathan just said and you look at any situation, if you're feeling the pull or a sense of ishness in you, and you have to listen, you have to be aware. But if you're feeling that on any decision you have to make that involves somebody else, you have to say, you have to acknowledge what the other person needs and wants, and there's a way to be, completely open and fair to both parties, or other all, or just like if that other party is like the world, right? It's possible that that's the case. There's a way to navigate that while being true to yourself. I used to think that I just had to cut ties completely, and now that I'm older and wiser and mature, not really, but I'm getting there. Then I realized it doesn't have to. There's a way that you can be true to who you are and still respect and allow others to exist and win in the process as well. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
absolutely. 100%. I love that. So I can't let you go here and wind this
Oh,
interview
did I
down.
talk too much? I'm sorry.
No, no, you're good. No, I can't let you, we're still got more to cover here, but
Oh, I'm here for you.
I can't let you go without asking for some live streaming tips, because there
Yes.
are people here who want to get started. Maybe you can, and I know it's a big topic. I'm throwing like everything that you do into this, but maybe just give some initial tips, or how to get started.
Yeah. So, from the tech side, because this is where people's minds go first and initially, we talk about the 4 levels of live streaming. So, level 1 is the phone. You literally have, excuse me, can you hear that? Like, that's my, that's my whistle
That's
in the
proof this
neighborhood.
is live. We're live, right?
Otherwise, we'd edit that out. But hey, that's the first thing about live, is it is live and things will happen, and you just have to be like, you know what? Totally okay. So level 1 is the phone. You have everything you need to be able to go live successfully right in your fingertips. So use it. Don't let anything hold you back from actually taking action. Level 2 is browser-based or cloud-based systems, services. So like StreamYard or Restream, those are 2 fantastic options for not having any learning curve. It's not the best quality, but the learning curve is super, super simple. It's like
Hmm.
almost non-existent. You just log into the browser, you don't have to download anything, and you just go. Again, not the greatest quality, but definitely super great to get started with, right? Because we're not letting anything hold us back from taking action. Level 3 is what Jonathan is using, which is Ecamm on a Mac, or if you're on a PC, vMix is what I would recommend. And these are downloadable softwares that will allow you to have a professional production. You can do all of the bells and whistles. And then level 4 is adding, I don't know, do you have a Stream Deck?
I am getting one. I do not have one yet.
Awesome.
Yes.
So this is a device. It's a hardware device that allows you to have like a full CNN quality production at the push of your fingertips without having anybody else involved. So it's a one-person production. And then level 4 also includes the strategic side, so that you know that you're creating the right content that grows your audience and grows your revenue. So that hopefully helps you get started in your brain about like what to use. V mix, Fred. You have everything except change the A to the I to an I. And then I would also say, just from an actual get going perspective, so many people are afraid of live because, oh my gosh, what if you screw up? This is what I call LAM, the live adrenaline monster. And we actually
Love that.
created a monster that you can put your brain around. He's the thing in your head attacking you at all times. Oh, you're going to screw it up. You're going to say something wrong. You're not going to. People aren't going to like you. What if the tech fails? All of the possible things that can go wrong. He's just. And so you have to learn to tame him. And the easiest way to start the process of taming him is to realize that it is not about you. The reason you're fearful of live is because you're putting so much pressure on yourself, because you think people are there to attack or judge you. Guess what? People are selfish. They are there to get something from you for themselves. So it is really, truly all about serving them and providing value. Value comes in many different forms. Education, it comes in, is my camera like pausing? Is that, are you seeing that?
No, on our end, you're good.
Okay, good. So value comes in many forms: education, inspiration, community, like human connection, but also entertainment. So it doesn't matter what kind of content you have; you can provide that value for people. Now, so yeah, just turn it away from you and focus on who you're doing it for, what it is you're there to accomplish, what's your impact that you are there to have, and make sure that you're treating them as human beings. And that will get you started down that path of taming the live adrenaline monster, Lamb.
I love that. I love that monster. I've had that monster. He lives with me, or she lives with me, or I don't know if it's male or female, but
It can be whoever you want.
okay, there you
We'll
go.
just call it they.
Yeah, you need to like create these monsters, make them like stuffed animals so people can
I
buy
know.
them.
We've actually been looking into it. So we have an image that we use to help people like look at it and think like it's really not that scary. You know, it's a kind of a cute monster. And so we thought people have asked us for like plush, you know, animals and like stress ball relievers type thing. I don't know when that'll happen, but
Yeah, I love that. I know some people will even they've got these stuffed animals that will fit over your camera lens because
oh,
some
that's a brilliant
people,
idea.
yeah, because some people say they have a hard time like looking at a lens and talking to a
Uh-huh.
lens, but it has a hole in it, so you put it right over your camera lens, and you're just talking to the stuffed animal.
I love it. I need to do that. Okay.
So what's next for you in 2021? What are you working on this year? What are you excited about?
I am super pumped. So I have Live Streaming Pros, and that's going really strong. I've got so much around Live Streaming Pros and bringing in additional experts and kind of navigating the issues and the challenges that people are facing in a much bigger way for people. So I'm really pumped about everything that we're doing on Live Streaming Pros. But I'm also taking the uniquely you concept and expanding on that this year. And that's going to be massive for me to really dig into that conversation with people. So while on Live Streaming Pros, I really help you with your content. At uniquely you as a brand, it's going to be focused on building a business that's authentic to you because, oh my God, how many things have we done in business that we're just doing because somebody told us to and it doesn't feel right for us.
Yes.
But also from a personal perspective, sticking up for yourself, listening to your gut, making sure you're making the right decisions for you so that your business and your content can thrive. So I'm expanding into, you know, slightly different directions there, but this really super intertwined and connected. And so I'm very, very pumped about that. I've made a commitment to, I really should be past this at this point, but I'm not because of some other things in the past. But like I've committed to my team that we're going to hit that $1 million mark this year and go 7 figures. So that's very exciting
Awesome.
as well. So yeah, those are the exciting things happening in my world.
I love it. Put it out there and gonna make it
Like,
happen.
whew.
That's right. I love that.
And I have no idea how, guys. Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest. I don't know how that's going to happen because that's a stretch for us at this point. At this point, but we tripled our growth in 2020, and I'm just like, yes, let's reach for the stars so that we can have a bigger impact in this
Yes.
world, and we can start to really grow that impact.
Yes. And your goals should both excite you and scare you a little bit at the same time.
For
If
sure.
they don't do both, then you've not really, what I've discovered is that your goal is not really a goal, it's really just a project, and no one gets excited about a project. So,
Yeah, totally.
all right. So, I do want to ask you, what would you say to somebody who's on the fence? Like, there might be people watching right now, or they're going to watch the replay. We're going to be promoting this to the list, and I'm sure we'll get a lot more people watching this. What would you say to somebody they're on the fence? Maybe they've been thinking about live streaming, for example, or they've been thinking about starting a business, but they're struggling with their uniquely you person coming out, what would you say to that person to help them kind of get started this year?
You got to just dive in. You've got to commit and say yes. Like I was talking about earlier, you got to say yes, even though you don't feel comfortable or confident in something, because yeah, of course you don't feel comfortable. It's something brand new,
Yes.
and that's totally acceptable. Like when you started riding a bike, you didn't feel confident on that bike. It's the same concept, and people somehow don't see that with live video. They don't want to step into that uncomfortable zone, and I would encourage you to step into it. Now, it may not be the right thing for you, right? Everybody thrives in different environments when it comes to content creation. Some really love podcasting, it fits really well with them as a person. Some people really love just recorded video. And I will say this, live video is one of those things that I've seen over and over and over. People don't feel like it is them until they get used to the process. So I would give it time, give
Yes.
it a few months of conscious effort to discover. And sometimes we have to just play around with things in order to discover whether it is right for us or not right for us. So, but don't be afraid of it. It's live, and the beauty of live is the human connection and getting to know people and having conversations. So that would be my advice: is take that step into the uncomfort zone so that you can learn whether it is right for you or not, and step into, like, just relax into you. And that's harder. That's, harder said than done. Is that the
Yeah,
right phrase? Okay. I screw phrases up all the time.
I
And
do
see,
too.
that's the thing. Like, I screw phrases up. I said, yeah, I make mistake after mistake after mistake on live video. And guess what? My audience freaking loves it because I don't freak out when I make a mistake, and I lean into it, and I make fun of myself and they make fun of me because it comes out of love, not harshness, or they're not being mean to me. I If I say something wrong, I wind up with a clip of it, and we play it over and over because it becomes what I call an audience trigger. People want to connect with another human being. They don't need you to be perfect. They
Yes.
just need you to be there.
Yes, so good. So start before you're ready is what I heard. Practice in public. It's okay to practice in public. And it is so true because you're not going to feel like you're ready. I tell people all the time. They told me, what was the hardest thing about writing your book? I said the
Oh,
hardest thing was for me was the voice inside my head that said, you're not good enough to write a book with such a great title. That was the one thing that kept coming up in my head. Like, Jonathan, somebody else's experience, somebody else's story, somebody else is more successful than you. They would be so much better at writing a book with such an awesome title. You're not a good enough writer for such an awesome title. And the guy who wrote Your Message Matters had to believe that his message mattered. That's the story.
yes.
And I think we think a lot of times that, people who are successful and do things, just they don't have to overcome mindset. Wrong. We have to
There.
overcome mindset all of the time, and it still comes up in our lives. It's not like we're past that. It still pops up in our lives. Hey,
Yeah.
quick,
And can
go
I
ahead.
tap into that? Just
Yeah.
let's take it a step further. Um, this year with me, like, writing a book, I have a book in me that I'm super passionate about doing,
Yeah.
but I have a bit of the same thing. Like, my fear is not that well, a little bit of that, but, like, I've never written a book. I don't know
Hmm.
how to write a book. Like, what's the best way? Like, all of these questions about actually the hardcore how to comes up
Yeah.
in my brain, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm not ready for that. You know what I mean? And Clubhouse. Are you familiar with Clubhouse?
Absolutely. It's a
So,
little addicting.
oh my God, I went to bed at 1 a.m. the other day. Probably hence the headache yesterday. Sorry. But yeah, no, it's totally addicting. Um, but it brought up so much of that imposter syndrome for me because I have this uniquely you conversation to have with the world, and that I'm so passionate about. And I got into some rooms where people who had written books on similar types of things, like BU, where I was like, oh, I can't, like, no, like me, no, they're so much better at it. They say it so much better.
Mm.
They have years of experience. Like all of these things, the imposter syndrome is crazy. But I had a conversation, multiple conversations at this point, with Glenn Morshower. Do you know his name?
Mhm.
He's an actor. Okay,
Yep.
so he's an actor on 24, and he's been in Star Trek. He's doing The Resident right now. He's got a movie coming out with Denzel Washington. He and I met on Clubhouse. He was in one of my rooms, and and he's just an amazing person, amazing human being. Outside of the fact that he is an actor, and one of the things he talked about around this topic was like the imposter syndrome, the intimidation factor. It is it's it literally doesn't exist. It only exists in our heads
Hmm.
because we allow it to be that there. So like it's a made up thing. And so if you can start to understand that, and he has some amazing TED Talks and videos online if you want to search that out. But if you realize that this whole like imposter syndrome thing is, we are all literally on a level playing field in life. It's just that other people have taken steps to get over that mindset issue that you haven't yet, or they've been at it for a little bit longer than you have. So it doesn't exist. So get rid of it. Don't allow that to stop you from going live, writing a book, doing whatever it is that you feel called to do.
I love it. So I've got I get there's so much cool
Oh, sorry,
stuff.
go
There's,
ahead.
no, as I say, there's so many cool like responses and questions in there. I love it. I did see Gwen asked, and we'll hit this one question and then we'll kind of wrap things up here today. But she wants to know, I've been told to wait. I think she's talking about live streaming until I have 1,000 followers.
So Gwen, I'm assuming you're talking about on YouTube. So you can't go live from the phone on the YouTube app until you have hit that 1,000 follower mark, but that doesn't mean that you should wait. So you can go live on youtube.com in just the browser, you still, regardless of how many viewers you have, or you can use something like StreamYard or Restream or Ecamm or vMix, like I was talking about with the level 2 and level 3. And so you're totally fine. Like, don't wait until some certain number, because there's no magic to that number. And the beauty of starting to stream before you have a huge audience is the fact that you're going to get it figured out. You're going to get some practice in. There's less pressure to be perfect. And so you can, and also outside of that, the people who do watch you live while you're in a small audience, you're going to connect with in such a deeper way. They're going to be your biggest loyal fans over time. They're going to become your moderators, potentially your team members. They're going to be there for you through transitions and through your growth. They're going to support you. Like, there's so much benefit to starting early.
Yes, and I love that. And I think that the thing that I've enjoyed the most about doing a weekly live stream show is really getting to know some of the people in my audience, because here I am for the last, 9 years building an email list. And sometimes if you're not careful, you see your audience, not a person. And live streaming, what that has done for me, it's done something that blogging couldn't do for me, something that podcasting couldn't do for me, something that doing recorded YouTube videos could not do for me. It gave me live personal interaction on a weekly consistent basis with people from my audience. And that's what I love about live streaming. Okay, so this has been fun. We could go on for longer, but I want to be
I know,
respectful.
sorry.
No, I want to be respectful of your time, because I know you jumped off a live stream and then you jumped onto us, and I'm sure you got other things going on today. But where can people connect with you? And I will say this too, the thing that I love about what you've done at Live Streaming Pros is it helps people. You don't have to have like a professional, like I have a one room studio. I didn't start there, but I eventually overtook a room and leveled up each time with the different levels. And you actually help people with that. So you don't feel, anybody that's watching, don't feel like you got to go invest, $5,000, $10,000 in a studio in your room to start live streaming. She's got you from beginning through. So where can people connect with you?
Livestreamingpros.com, or if you want to connect on a live show, come over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/livestreamingpros. And the workshop that we have to help you build out your tech and also get the content and all of that. I have a content workshop coming up on the 18th, but the tech you create your dream video studio workshop is livestreamingpros.com/studio. And yeah, so I would love to connect with you. If you're on Clubhouse, I would love to connect with you there and have real raw conversations. I have a Facebook group for the Uniquely You concept as well. So yeah, lots of places to connect. So it depends on what you're looking for.
Awesome. Well, Luria, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate everything that I've learned from you. Like I said, I'm doing all this live streaming thing, but there's been times where I'm like, but how do I do that? And I go over to your YouTube channel and I know you have a video, you have something, and you always have like these scheduled out videos. And I'm like, oh, I got to learn that. I want to know how to do that. And I have to wait until that date in order to find out. So I'll try to be more active so you know that I'm around. I've just kind of been a silent follower a little bit, but I really appreciate it.
And that's key for people to remember, is that there are people who are paying attention. They're just not speaking up. So you got it. Like, I work with people on the engagement factor. So I guess I need to work a little harder on you.
Yes, for sure. But yeah, you're exactly right. And I think that should be an encouragement that there's people listening to your podcast that may not respond. There's people reading your blog post that they're not commenting on your blog post. It doesn't mean your blog post wasn't life-changing. I tell people, how many times did you read a blog post that was like, oh man, this is what I needed. You forgot to comment below. You never told the person who wrote the article. That happens.
Because you don't think they need to hear it.
Yeah, that happens all the time. So, and what that should do is should encourage all of you that although you're not getting the feedback like you want, you are making a difference.
For sure. And Bella, you are a superhero. So lean into it. I'm glad that this was helpful.
Awesome. She said, thank you for a great session. I'm live streaming twice a week now, but you make me feel like a superhero.
You are.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for being here, Laura. We'll let you go. And you guys go connect with her at livestreamingpros.com. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We got one more interview we're going to be doing tonight at 8 o'clock, and I love this. It's Charles Wesson, and he's right here from our own community. He has a passion to help restaurant owners, and especially is creating a coaching program and helping right now restaurant owners while they're going through the difficulties of losing customers and how do you re-engage those old customers. So if you're interested in like coaching and learning how do I take something I'm passionate about or knowledgeable in and go do some coaching, then come back tonight 8 p.m. and hear his story. Also, really quick before you go, we are doing a free live challenge all next week. We're calling it the Uncover Your Calling 5-day challenge. And I'm excited about this. We're going to be in a Facebook group. I'm going to come live each day to give you one simple exercise. So if you're like, what is my gift? How do I discover my gift? Jonathan, you said you had other people speak into your life and help you uncover what was unique about you. What did you do? We're going to be doing exercises to help you uncover your unique gift and your calling. Just go to jmill.biz/calling. All right, that is it for today's interview. We'll see you guys. Oops, here we go. We'll see you guys back at 8 p.m. tonight. All right, bye-bye.